Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to get on here and talk about being yourself unapologetically. And what does it really mean to channel your most authentic self? What does it mean to really just follow your vibration, but also just follow your truth? And just being yourself unapologetically all the time, because it feels like it's loving. It feels like you're showing unconditional love to your friends, to your loved ones, to everybody around you when you follow your own path and you follow your own alignment and you follow your own frequency and you allow yourself to be yourself all the time and allow you to set an example, to set a new standard, but also to allow others to see you being yourself and feeling into that vibration and feeling into the resonance and feeling into the flow of the energy while it's present. So to be yourself unapologetically is really setting boundaries. It's cutting the cords that are binding you. It's letting go of everything that is limiting you, but also everything that disempowers you. And knowing that you're only responsible for your vibration. You're responsible for who you are as an energetic being. And we are here to set an example, but to relay and to allow others to see visions and word pictures so they are able to decipher the encoded messages that are on this earth plane. So always be yourself unapologetically, because it'll allow you to not suppress who you are, to not restrict who you are, but to follow that breadcrumb trail of excitement and to lay out your own path. And knowing everything is a mirror, something can be a pathway, something can be a block, but something could be a lesson and a reflection for you to be yourself unapologetically all the time. So when we emit that vibration and we follow our alignment to the very fullest and we don't sway from it and we don't allow another person to limit how we can emit that frequency, then we're following our inner intuition and we're coming into sync, into balance to who we really are again. We're fully embracing that self-remembrance. We're embracing that energy, but we're also allowing everybody to embody their free will. So everybody can embody their free will and everybody can be their own energy and be their own individuation. And really what standard you can set is to follow your own way and your own path and your own truth that was laid before you. You're not responsible for your parents' path or your brother's path or your friend's path, but you're responsible for paving your own path and your own alignment so that you can be of service to everybody. We should never sacrifice our alignment for people, places, or things, or situation or circumstance, or a job that we've been at for years and years to come. Because then we're sacrificing everything that we want to do in our lives. And we should never sacrifice that at all, because that is putting a limitation on your free will, but it's also putting a limitation on how you can expand and grow and follow your own journey. So it's like, you could be in a relationship, it's still your own journey. You could have family members, it's still your alignment and your vibration. You could be working at a job and your employer wants you to do this and it feels out of alignment. That means that you need to leave that contract. You're not binded by cords, you're not binded by circumstance, you're not binded by contracts. That is a myth. That is something like you don't have to do that said thing for that person if they want you to do that. But what do you want to do, and what do you want, and what does your heart desire? Is the question you need to ask yourself. What do you desire, and what do you want, and what do you want out of life? And do you want the riches of life? Do you want the abundance of life? Do you want to come into balance with who you really are, and knowing how you can embrace your free will and be very risky and be very edgy, and to push the boundaries? But also implement boundaries. Don't sell yourself, don't sell your soul to all of these confines that we've constructed as a human society. But go your own way and know that it will never lead you astray, that divine obedience will never allow you to mess up or have a mishap or have a mistake. Because your mistakes and your setbacks and your phases can be gateways that are opening. There can be new doors, new relationships, new ways of expanding yourself, new ways that you can be an example for somebody, and knowing that if you sacrifice that alignment, you would never know what was possible. and what you could have channeled out of yourself, but also how you could have made an impact on people's lives. So be yourself unapologetically. You don't have to apologize for being yourself. You don't have to feel bad because someone wants you to do this, said thing, because there's going to be a lot of people that try to talk you out of a lot of things. But vibrationally right now, this is the course of action that you want to take. And you should always be spontaneous and radical and edgy and rebellious in the way that you want to manifest in your life. Because then you realize your emotions are not who you are, but the feeling bad or the feeling of distortion will allow you to open gateways and portals and initiate other ways of tapping into your energetic field, because that's an emotional guidance system, which leads to the seeking impulse, which leads to expanding upon who you are and finding those signs and confirmations and miracles that you're setting into motion. So you're setting everything into motion of what you want to attract to yourself, but also how you want to come more into balance, into sync with who you really are. Instead of confirming what you are or going into a certain pattern or falling into this category of a light worker, there's no limitation to what you can do. Doesn't matter what gifts you have. You have many different gifts. It could be your personality. It could be your sense of smell. It could be your sense of being a psychic reader. But being yourself unapologetically means to explore yourself. And that self-exploration turns into self-acceptance. And then you're not as quick to self-indulge in other people's distortions. You're not as quick to fall into the trap of just stewing in your own juices, just feeling bad for yourself or sorry for yourself. You see that it's not necessary. You don't see it as a necessary thing. And you have to find everything that is relevant and everything that is a key component for you to vibrationally rise up against the mold and to really make an impact and make your impact known. It's kind of like just declaring who you are and confirming what you are at this exact moment. Because once you do that, and once you just confirm what you are at this exact moment, and you're very consecrated in it, you have a lot of faith towards it, but you also have a lot of spunk and energy towards that and excitement. And it's just finding the excitement to where you don't have to look for the excitement in everything in your life. And that's what's beautiful. When you don't have to find the inspiration, but the inspiration just comes out of you. When you don't have to know how to channel, where you just channel authentically and it feels in resonance and it feels vibrationally in alignment. And you know where your energy is coming from because you purified where you were coming from instead of where you were going. And that allows you to be non-biased. It doesn't allow you to be biased towards anything in your life. So it allows you to tap into the truth of what all there is. So when it allows you to tap into the truth and the wonderment and the vibration of coming back into sync with who you really are, you will be unapologetically yourself all the time without any hesitation. Because you realize that that is the course of action that you need to take. And every day you're consistent and you find the competition in wanting to feel good all the time, and wanting to be in sync with your emotions, to be in sync with your finances, to have that frame of mind so that you can connect with the mind and the body and the soul. And when you do this, it's the most freeing thing that you can have. It means that you're able to see past the details and you don't get muddled within the illusions. And you don't get muddled within everybody else's crap either. It allows you to pinpoint the truth here and now. And if you're able to pinpoint the truth here and now, and you can tap into the absolute truth where you don't have to question it, and you don't have to find an explanation for it, and you don't have to find the inspiration for it, you just know that that is the bleep of creation that just kind of comes out of you. And then people will see that, and they'll see the example that you're setting, and then they'll find something within themselves to do, to be inspired, to find a reason to live. We ultimately have a reason for existence because existence wouldn't exist if there wasn't a reason to it, or there wasn't a rhyme to it. So we have a reason to be here. We have infinitesimally transcendent reasons to be here. But it's just going your own path. It's creating your own world. It's manifesting your desires into existence. But it's also not determining what it looks like. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what it looks like. The only thing that matters, it's of a loving, abundant nature. And it's not coming from a place of insecurity, but it's coming from a place of validation. You can validate for yourself. You don't have to find another person to validate it. So you can validate right now that I feel at my utmost best at this exact moment. And I know that I'm understanding the science of achievement because I know I can place that intention out there and I can create it within this meditative state, but also I can project it into existence, into my awareness, that I can breathe that vibration here and now, and I can just absolutely flow to it here and now because I'm confirming what I am instead of what I think I am. And you're dissolving out of the realm of assumption because you're not assuming that I am this solid person that suffers or thinks of this or have to find reasons not to do what I need to do. So the amount that we don't assume that we are this solid object is when we dissolve the subject to object relationship. And when you are able to do that, that means you're breaking free from the confines of only the physical focus and the physical sense perceptions. So when you are able to do this, it's very freeing because you've made a decision that I want to break free from this subject to object relationship. I want to break free from all the cords that are binding me. I don't allow people to dictate who I am, but I dictate who I am and what I want to do and what I want to manifest. You don't allow your circumstance to dictate who you are. You don't allow your experiences to dictate who you are, or your boss or your coworkers or your family, because you're embracing the cosmological law of free will. Because to embrace your free will is to embrace your free energy. Because you are a being. You are a metaphysical being of love and light. So when you have fully embraced that, that means that you're less needy of all of these other things because you have everything that you already wanted here and now. It's like something Tony Robbins says. If you want a rich life right now, there's a science to wealth, but it's kind of just a decision. So you can think of that with everything in your life. It's a decision to feel good. It's a decision to not breathe lack. It's a decision to want to break free from the illusion. So a lot of it is our conditioning, but sometimes it's our actions, it's our decisions, or it's what we're withholding within ourselves that we don't want to breathe that ecstasy and that vibration here and now. And it's very freeing because you're following your heart. You're not following your mind, but you're aligning the mind, the body, and the spirit all in one sitting so that there is that twin heart. So there is a flame and a spark of creation, and there's just something that's inside of you that generates different configurations of energy, but different mechanics of healing, but also allows you to be a light body. So you're encompassing that spiritual mass, that light within your space. And when you encompass that light within your space, it changes everything around you. It doesn't make you feel that you're a person having a spiritual experience, but you're a non-physical being having a human experience. I believe that's what it's called. I could have got it wrong, but you're not a human having a spiritual experience, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. So that's where the balancing of the physical and the non-physical kind of coalesce and kind of coincide. So it's really just opening up to reception, opening up your heart to the doors of heaven, and understanding that you can create everything that you want now. That's intentionality. But also that's vocalizing it, sensing it, being aware of it and having the cognizance and the alignment to do what you need to do here and now. And just cutting out everything else. How can I bring it within my space now? I placed it in my vortex, but let's take it a step further. How can I place it inside of myself right here, right now? How can I be it right here, right now? And just flow to it and open myself up so that I can tap into the heart. And then once you do that, that means that everything is coming from all the way up here and pouring down, as if you are a cup that runs over into another cup. You are an endless supply. So that's why there's not a ceiling to enlightenment. There's not a ceiling to how we can spiritually advance. A lot of people would like to put you in that category, but that you're not one of those people. And I don't think anybody should think that there is a ceiling. But I do believe that we can be grounded in the way that we have a high vibration. So we're not grounding to forget, we're grounding to remember and encompass that light and that vibration and to stay within that. And a lot of people, like I remember when I started kind of smoking on my live feeds, they didn't like it because I was expressing myself in a certain way. But my guides told me that this allows me to use my throat chakra in a way that I don't normally use it. And it makes me feel more comfortable actually to speak in front of people when I do that. So you have to do what makes you feel most comfortable all the time in the midst of challenges, in the midst of your lowest vibration, in the midst of your messiest moments. You have to do what makes you stay expanded, but also be calm, collected, and cool about everything. It's a very difficult thing to do, to be yourself unapologetically, because it will ruffle a lot of feathers and it will step on a lot of toes, and you have to break a lot of the rules that have been set before us. And then you start following your own set of rules. You start going within and you start channeling from within and following your own intuition and your resonance and your vibration and want more out of enlightenment. So you're not settling for less. You're not settling for just this and that. And you're not delving within your lack. But you're always wanting more from the situation and how you can learn and expand and to go further and to have more depth with your spiritual alignment. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And I think it's the most sincere path when we do this. Because if we open up, if we allow ourselves to be sincere in the way that we channel and the way that we love one another, then we're expecting the best out of each other. So enlightenment comes in so many different forms and mechanisms and configurations of energy. It's not just one way, but all paths really lead to God. My path may not be like your path, but somebody could be hearing this message and it could really help them and it could save their life. And it could really give them that sense of validation and confirmation, and it can give them some form of an answer, if you will. And it can give you some sense of comfort and some sense of sense and sensibility, so that you can install that within your hard drive and keep it in a file. So a lot of us, to really see who we really are, is to not suppress any desire that allows us to succeed. Because God Source Energy and the Great I Am would never put something on your heart or have you do something that you yourself were not willing to handle. So it develops a sense of fearlessness and courageousness because you're not allowing the thoughts of the human mind, fear, to arise. or allowing your physical body to determine what you are. Because that's when you channel the spirit, and you're channeling the spirit authentically. And the spirit will always say what needs to be said, unapologetically, all the time. When you channel the spirit and you channel your higher self and you allow yourself to become a co-creation of God's source energy and the great I am, then that's when you're in the realm of truth that surpasses all understanding. So when we tap into that, then that truth surpasses all understanding. The way to understand is to know that you don't know everything. You don't need to know everything all at once. You don't need to be well trained. You don't need to know everything, because the most successful people in this world are not well trained. They're not the smartest person in the room, but they're not the dumbest person in the room either. But don't be afraid to ask questions, because I know everybody in school, like myself, I was afraid to ask questions. I was afraid to raise my hand because I didn't want to look like the idiot in the room. But sometimes that's absolutely the best thing to do, is to raise your hand, because if you don't truly understand something, then the divine will give you reflections and lessons and catalysts and give you some form of a word picture and a vision, so that you can encompass that vision and allow the vision to become who you are. And that's what makes it beautiful, the path itself. A lot of us have questions. A lot of us are wondering what we need to really do. But sometimes it's not about what you need to do, because ultimately we all know what we need to do. But what do you want right here, right now? And how do you want to become it? And how do you want to go about it? Because the way that I would go about something is maybe not the way that you would go about something. But there is a path, and there's a vibration, and there's an alignment, and there's parameters that we all follow within our journey that gets us to come back to synchronicity and symmetry. So it's not linear. But we have to let go of that physical focus and that linearity, because it only puts us to a certain point. And when life changes and there's that shift and there's that awareness and there's that initiation of a new parallel reality and a new vibration and a new version of yourself, there's always different things to learn, and there's always different things to seek. And there's ultimately different ways to receive. But however you get there is how you get there. Because I can say all the beautiful things that I want to say, or I can say something that resonates, but at the core, how can we tap into the truth right here, right now, that surpasses all understanding? And we don't have to debate it or argue it with another person about the methods, but we can just know it, and we don't have to really validate it, because you've already validated it. You've already made it known within yourself who you really are. And then you reflect that, and you become an example of that, and you become consecrated within it, because you know that is going to bring the most love and the most unity to every situation, and everyone, and everything that we share and channel and become. And a lot of people don't like to hear that, but it feels honest. And if we can't be honest with ourselves, then who are we going to be really honest to, right? Who are we really going to be honest towards if we're not honest with ourselves? So sometimes it's just being brutally honest with yourself, but holding yourself accountable and being responsible for your energy, and knowing that you're not responsible for the entire world's energy, but you're responsible for your vibration in the way that you project and the way that you flow with your energy. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So we're going to do a meditation. So if you want to take part in this meditation, feel free to receive, but also book private sessions with me. Thank you so much for the likes, 3,000 likes. Thank you so much. And we're going to do a meditation and kind of wrap this in a beautiful bow. So whatever you feel, type in the comment sections how you feel during the meditation as well. So here we go. Relax your neck, stretch out your legs, stretch out your arms, whatever you need to do. And just take a deep breath. Exhale. And I want you to find ways that you're yourself all the time, and you are your vibrational self unapologetically. Knowing that you don't have to sacrifice your alignment towards anybody, to a circumstance, to an emotion, but all of it is a part of your self-development. All of it is for your growth. All of it is the change inside of yourself. And you embrace that because you see how sensible it is and how it makes sense, because it's really just tapping into your authority and your discernment to tap into your truth and your resonance and standing firm within that and not having any outside sources be a part of that filter. And when nothing is a part of that filter and nothing distorts that filter in any way, shape, or form and allows you to pierce the veil of deception and allows you to stay firm in your truth, to know that that is your gateway to enlightenment. That is your gateway to open up more portals and gateways and lessons and experiences and relationships within your life, because you're developing you're finding your soul tribe and your soul family and the reason why you are here. So that's the biggest question that we have on the spiritual journey, is why we are here. What are we supposed to do? What is our reason for being here? And how can we allow others to be healed in the I Am presence? How can I become the first billionaire in my family? How can I be the truth, the way, and the love and the light to another person so that they seek this path? How can I find that connection and that familiarity and that relatability to us as being free beings of free will and embracing that free will within ourselves so that everybody follows their individuality? Everybody needs to become their own individual in a sense. So everybody's here to become who they're supposed to be and what they're supposed to represent within this incarnation. But be a truth teller. And don't ever feel bad for sharing. Don't ever feel bad for standing out among the rest to bring about knowledge, wisdom, healing, and breakthroughs within people. Even if you just awakened 1,000 people, you have done your job on this earth. A wise man once told me that before. Just appreciate the fact that you're a blessing to somebody. Appreciate the fact that you're here to be empowered, alive, focused, healthy, and whole. A lot of us as human beings, we worry about small things. We worry about things that don't matter. We worry about things that have no correlation of who we're supposed to be right at this exact moment. We allow the little things to try to pull us out of our awareness. So we don't need to sweat the small things into big things, because spirituality handles all of the relative things, and how we can be relevant, but also how we can be consistent within our vibration. That there could be a lot of noise and roars and negativity all around you, but you are your own space of creation. You are your own free being of free will. And you open up that ability to be amazing, to be a helper, to be someone that wants to allow someone to open up and to be their own source of creation, because you allow them to tap into their heart, to channel authentically, and to not only have the mindfulness of that I am not this human being that I assume to be. I'm not my assumptions or my thoughts or my emotions, but they are all just guidance so that I can balance out the human and the non-physical aspects of reality. So it's just changing the polarity of positive and negative within your life. And when you do this, it's very freeing. It means you don't allow anything in your space that prohibits your self-development. You don't sacrifice your alignment for people, places, and things. But you embrace your free will fully, because you know that you're here to be free once again. There are no chains that are binding you, no cords, no past lifetimes. There's not a person that can bring you to this relaxation, but it's just tapping into it here and now. I may be conducting the meditation, but what is allowing the meditation to shine through? To be its own individuation. But it's just being clear and empty. It's just being that clear, empty vessel. Because when you are the light body, when you have spiritual mass within your space, that means you are a clear, empty vessel. And you're allowing yourself to be empty so that there is no delusion or distortion or limitation. Because there are no limitations to God, Source Energy, and the Great I Am. Diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth. Grounding. North, east, south, and west. Because it is an aura that is cleansed. It is an aura that is open, and open to many interpretations and perspectives and ways of relaying the truth. But love yourself, be responsible for yourself, act on your desires, hold yourself accountable, but be yourself unapologetically. Because that is what's going to make a big impact and a big splash within the spiritual community. And allow everybody to be themselves once again. to follow your passions, to follow your alignment, to seek for self-realization and self-purification, and in the ability to create worlds into existence. So everybody take one last deep breath. Exhale. And so it is. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that meditation. I hope you were really blessed by it. And also just be yourselves. Don't ever allow yourselves to forget who you are. It's kind of smoky back here. I don't think anybody's burning barbecue or something, but man, it got like kind of smoky out here. I was like, what was going on? I kind of looked around me and I was like, what is this? It was like this fog crept over, but it's kind of died down now. But like when I came back from the meditation, there was something different in the air. But if you didn't get anything from this message, be yourself unapologetically. Don't ever sacrifice your alignment. And another person is not going to get you to recognize that vibration and that anointing and grace that you're seeking for. It's just tapping into the relaxation and the peace here and now, and clearing each day, letting go each day, but being consecrated within that alignment every single day so that you can vibrate from the channeled embodiment of the glory of God's source energy, to come from your heart and come from a place of love, come from a place of unconditional love and non-biased ways of seeing. So I want to thank you all for allowing me to do that, and you guys make this possible. You guys are the reason because it wasn't me doing anything. It would be pointless if nobody received from it. Even though everybody is receiving from it energetically and collectively, but the very fact that you received from it was because you showed up to your life today. And that's what made it beautiful. It was you. It had nothing to do with me. So I want to thank you guys so much. God bless. Namaste. And I hope you were blessed by the meditation. And just be yourselves unapologetically, and you'll never regret it. So thank you. God bless, and namaste.